Hi, I'm Luis Caballero. This is my wife Rhonda Caballero. We have 4 boys and a daughter. Their names are Andrew, Michael, Joseph, Nicholas, and our daughter's name is Manny Megan. Our son, Michael, worked for Winco Foods, was very polite to everybody, respected everybody, was a hard worker. Came to us and one day decided to ask us that he felt he wanted to move out. We told Michael it was a little hard, that it's not easy to go out and pay your bills and so forth, to live life, buy food and everything. But we told him if that's what he wanted to do, that was his decision, and we would back him up on it. So he moved out. We helped him move, and he took his little belongings he had, and he liked to socialize with his friends. Well, it was January 31st. I could say it was Friday.
Late Friday night.
Friday night, early Saturday morning. We were all laying down. All my boys were there. My other 3 boys, and we got a phone call. It was about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. My oldest boy Andrew answered the phone, and he came in the room yelling, saying that something had happened to Michael. That
Michael had been shot, and so we jumped in our car and drove over to the apartment, at which time the ambulance had just gotten there. And so we weren't allowed in the apartment, but we could see our son laying on the floor. He had been shot in the head. And I knew then that he was already gone. But it was really hard for us to see him that way. And we followed the ambulance to the hospital. And I remember telling my husband, he's not going to make it. I think he's already gone. When we waited for some news, and by then our family had started gathering, and they took us down with the chaplain, and the doctor came in and said that our son had passed away.
Friends, family came down. Donna and Pastor, I refer to him as Pastor Ron Granados, came and he was talking to all of us. I mean, he was trying to comfort everybody, the majority of our family, and it was I didn't make it easier, but for me knowing that he was there, it was very comforting to me. He's a man of words, and he directed me most of my life, as long as I've known him. And he sat there and just told us that everything was going to be okay, that God had needed him for another reason. He had some plan for him up there, and that we needed to accept it, and that it would take time for us to heal from it. And we still are at this time healing from it. But one thing that me and my wife and my family are grateful for is that it brought us a lot closer to God. We were close to God for a while, not in the sense to where we would talk to him and ask him for this and ask him for that, but after this fact that happened, we started opening up more and more. We felt comfortable talking to him and seeing the changes that he brought to us. We still have our other 3 boys that they have to live their lives. We understand that, but now we're more influenced in God, that we try to influence them at the same token. Try to steer them on that right path.
Because they struggled with the loss of losing their brother. But we, through our faith in God, we learned that we were actually blessed to be the parents of Michael. That God chose us to have him with us for the 19 years that he gave him to us. And for a long time, I never really understood that. But I'm proud that God picked me to be Michael's mother. I mean, that's something that only I can say. I got to carry him in my belly for 9 months. And so God chose me to do that special task for him. I mean, I'm blessed, truly blessed to say I was Michael's mother. And that, for the 19 years that I had him, they were wonderful years. He was a wonderful young man. And, I can't say anything bad about him, but I just felt the arms of our church at the time we were attending was Highlands Community Church. They just embraced our whole family. Ron and Donna were just wonderful, and we had a car wash because funerals are very expensive. And it was thundering, lightning. We even had hail that day. We were doing the car wash in front of the church. We made $1,900 that day and washed one car. And that's testimony to the people in the high desert who just passed by, saw the flyers, and just stopped and just, asked us questions and just gave their money out of the kindness of their heart. And then the next day, which was Sunday, his friends had another car wash and they made an additional $1,500. And it was cold up here because January is a cold month. Well, we were actually in February by then. And so it just showed us that God was working just constantly, and the love that we felt not only from our church, from our family, but just from our community, even to the mortuary where we buried our child. They were just awesome with us. And all we could think about was, wow, it took something so tragic for us to really open our eyes and say, we are truly blessed. We have each other, which God put us together for a reason. We have our family, and that is the mold of everything. And so we, as the parents, have to help our other children realize that, yes, you lost a brother, but hey, God has us all here, and we're still here for a reason. Your brother's enjoying his life up in heaven. People are saying, well, I can't believe you can talk so calmly. Yes, I can, because I have faith in God. And that's where my strength comes from. And I am truly blessed to be a Christian. I am blessed to have God's love over me and my family. And for that, I will be eternally grateful for. Because who else would you want that love from but our Heavenly Father, who just shines on us? And every day is a struggle. It doesn't get any better when you deal with a situation like that. But it's like when we start thinking about it, God just brings a calm that just, it's okay to cry. It's okay to just feel that way. But Michael's not crying for you. You're just crying because we miss him, and that's never going to go away. And so, I have to be grateful for that. I'm grateful for the church family that we had, and now at the Orchard, they've just opened their arms to us here. People have given us testimony as to what's happened with them. And so I have never spoke to another family about losing a child until Karen came to me and brought it to us. And it gave me a kinship with her because I had never spoken to anybody about it that has actually had a child taken from them.
And you always think, why did it happen to us? But in reality, you don't know who else has gone through the same thing until you start going to church or you meet other people. And they have the same thing in common. They've even probably one, two, who knows? But you meet those people, and the church, like she says, at Orchard Church right now we're going to, the family there have accepted us. And any needs we have or anything that's bothering us, we could go to them and talk to them about it, and they comfort you to the fullest. They're calling during the week. They call you while you're at work. They call you at home. It's a constant, hi, I was just thinking about you. Hopefully you guys are okay. Hopefully you're doing fine. And that's the love that we see that's God's installing into us right now, is that the love of His apostles or His people that are coming to us and shedding their love that they have, just like He would. And we believe it's Him instigating or being behind it all and getting us and just hugging us, just giving us that hug, which makes us a better family and a better people.
And in hindsight, we can now look back those few weeks before Michael's death. God gave us special moments with Michael that we didn't know were going to be the last moments we have. For Christmas, He gave me this diamond heart and chain, so I wear a piece of Michael's heart with me at all times. My husband's birthday is January 29th. 2 days before Michael was killed, the whole family was together for Louis' birthday. Michael was there. So the whole family spent 6 hours with Michael that we had no idea would be the last 6 hours the family would ever spend together. But that was God's doing, because he wanted us to have those special moments knowing that 2 days later Michael would be gone. And the day Michael was killed, I saw him as I was going into work. He was leaving work. And I spoke to him at 8:30 that night and got a chance to tell my child, I love you, be careful. Even though it was the last conversation I had with him, for me, I was able to say those words to him. And it's a great comfort to know that he knew we loved him and cared for him. Just like we prayed for him in the doorway of his apartment. Told him how much we loved him and how much God was going to take care of him. And I know that's where he's at, and that's what God wanted for him. Mm-hmm. It was his time to go.
I am thankful for me personally is for having my wife. I don't think I could have gone through this with anybody else. She's always backed me up. She's my backbone from day one. And I love her a lot, and I was glad I was there for her. Because in that time of need, when everything's chaos and nobody knows what's going to happen, as long as I know I have her and she has me, we both could get through it. It's something that it's hard. It's one of the hardest things in the world, but
God has us together, yeah. And we know that we're blessed through God because of God, and that's something that keeps our marriage stronger, and our belief is the same, and that's what matters the most to us, and that we give thanks to God for everything that we have or don't have. We know that it's what God wants, and so that's how we look at life. And it opened our eyes, but it opened our eyes for the better. Some people would say for the better, yeah, because we know more now, almost 3 years later, than what we did. Even though we were in believers of Christ, it sure taught us so much more and gave us so much more faith that we could move on and be grateful for the things that we have, and to not take for granted anything, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. I'm not guaranteed another 10 minutes. So I appreciate what's given to me at that moment, and we need to, as human beings, appreciate other people around us, because I could be videotaping this right now and not see you guys ever again. I don't know that. But I know that if that happens, I know where I'm going, and that's heaven, and that's something that I am grateful to know, and know in my heart that that's where I'll be.